We see you getting after your fitness goals. But what about those money goals? You can count on Credit Karma for a clear view of your finances and your progress, helping you see results so you can keep checking off those financial personal bests and find your way to money. Progress never felt so good. Download the Intuit Credit Karma app and start achieving your money goals today. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to When Reality Hits. I'll be doing the podcast solo today, but next week I'm having an exciting guest. I won't be announcing who just yet, but I'm super excited for it, so stay tuned for that. I'll start with a little life update. So Tom and I were in San Diego last weekend for work, which was a lot of fun. It was a quick trip, but kind of less than 24 hours, to be honest. And then I got to go home and spend time with my little boy, Cruzy, which I love to death because Brittany was in Vegas having some fun with her girls. So Tom and I are actually headed to Toronto this weekend. So if you guys want to pass by one of our events, we're hosting a brunch on Saturday, I think, and then we're doing early evening on Sunday. Both are going to be at the Greta, which is an awesome place. I've been there a few times, and I just absolutely love that place. I just love Toronto. I love Canada. I mean, I've been so many times. I feel like I've been in like every city, every main city anyway. And I just love the people there. I have so much fun there. You know, when I get these opportunities to go to Canada, I'm always like, I'm in. I don't care. I want to go. I love the people. I love to get to see. I have friends there now, which is really cool. So now I get to see some of my new friends. So I believe Saturday is fully sold out, but there are still, I think, some tickets available for Sunday. So I'm excited to see you guys. And you know how much I love Canada. On another note, we just announced that we are holding our huge annual Halloween party at Jax's on Saturday, October 26th. Starts at 9 p.m. There will be DJ, obviously, drink specials all night long with a costume party, and the contest will be announced at midnight, but obviously we're going to go way later than that, with cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. I'm going to host it, but of course I'll have people from Vanderpump there. I'll have people from the Valley and other shows. I'm sure people will stop by. It's always a lot of fun. Like I said, last year was actually a blast. So yeah, if you all want to swing by, I'd love to have you all. Take some pictures, have a good time, and just to meet you guys. So something else I wanted to touch on that is extremely personal, but unfortunately everything hits public record. So I got to briefly address this. So I responded back to the divorce filing last week, and unfortunately, I made some errors in the documents that I filled out. But the paperwork is in progress, and it's going to be amended, and I got legal counsel. You know, I'm not going to get into all the details right now, but I understand why many of you have questions, and you want to know what's going on. And I promise you guys, this will all be addressed, and it will make better sense in time. Like I said, right now, it's just kind of just going through the paperwork, but everything's going to be good. I promise you guys, and everything's fine. So anyway, I really loved last week's episode. I did where I kind of answered everybody's fan questions. I've had a lot of fun with that, and I think it kind of clears the air with a lot of things that people, want to know. So, there are many great ones I got, and I wasn't able to get through, so I wanted to do another one if that's okay with you guys. I also wanted to point something out. Many of you are writing me and commenting, asking why I sounded like I had a lisp. And I really, really apologize with that. Our podcast studio has been undergoing some renovations. So I've been having to record from home with no microphone. So the sound quality, just isn't great. I promise I don't have a lisp. I'm okay. A lot of you are concerned. So I really, really appreciate that. Anyway, on the bright side, we are finally back in the studio next week, which I'm so excited because I love being in the studio and I love the team that I have. So anyway, let's get to your questions. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I really love doing these questions. So listen up and hopefully I can resolve some of the questions that you guys have. Anyway, okay, here's the first question. If you could plan the perfect day for Cruz, what would that be? I plan these days with Cruz all the time, and our favorite thing to do is to get up in the morning. We usually go for a walk around the block, get something to eat. We'll do a little swimming, maybe take a nap. Then we'll hit Sky Zone, and then obviously we have to hit McDonald's afterwards. Now, there's this really cool McDonald's place that he loves, and he loves his nuggets. So that's kind of what we do. We kind of, we do it really at least 2 or 3 times a week. We hit Sky Zone. We hit Ball and Bounce. That's another fun place that he really likes. We definitely love going to the park. And like I said, he loves the play place at McDonald's. He always gets his chicken nuggets, milk, and bananas. That's kind of his go-to meal. So that's kind of our perfect day right now. Other than that, he has school, he has occupational therapy, he has speech therapy. So he's got a lot going on in his life, and he's in soccer. So his days are pretty filled. So we really, try to keep him busy, So that's kind of what's going on for that. So what's Cruz's favorite meal? I think that's a given for pretty much every kid these days is chicken nuggets. I mean, you can't really go wrong with chicken nuggets. We try to stay on the healthy version of those. They usually have some good ones at Trader Joe's that are the healthy ones, but obviously once in a while we go to McDonald's and they're not the healthiest, but he loves them. And, he's my kid and I ate him growing up, so I don't see anything wrong with it. Okay. If a movie was being made about your life, who would you want to play you? Christian Bale. Probably Christian Bale because American Psycho was one of my favorite movies, and I really think he could play me well, maybe in my older days. Um, yeah, I think I would go Christian Bale. I think he's just a badass, I think I'm gonna have to go with him. I love Ryan Reynolds too. Like in the earlier days in his all the like the kid movies or the teen movies, he was really, really funny too. So I don't know. I think Christian Bale, Ryan Reynolds would be cool. What is your dream vacation? Now, I did take my dream vacation, and I've talked about this place so many times. Now, as you guys know, I've kind of been very, very fortunate. I've been really all over the world. I've been to Europe. I've been to Australia. I've been all over the U.S., Germany, Italy, Spain, kind of everywhere. And I got to say, my favorite hotel that I've ever stayed in, it was my dream vacation. And actually, Brittany and I went back after we were filming. We went to a place called Hotel Mosai, which is, I want to say, I get all the cities mixed up in Mexico because we've gone to so many. We've gone to Cabo, we've been to Puerto Vallarta, we've been to Tulum, we've been to Cancun. I can't remember exactly what city it was in. I want to say Puerto Vallarta. Maybe I want to say that. But anyway, if you guys ever go to Mexico, please, please check out the Hotel Mosai. Now, this is an all-inclusive hotel, and most people are like, I'm not really into the all-inclusive. I'm not really either. I've been to many all-inclusives, and I'm like, oh, these places are terrible. But I tell you guys, you need to check out Hotel Mosai. This is not a paid ad, I promise you. I just absolutely love this place. And you should go, you can bring your whole family, but if you want to get away with your significant other, I'm telling you guys, this place is absolutely amazing. The pool, the food, the staff. Now that is what really I love most about it is the staff. Everybody, was so nice, overly nice to the fact where they were like, how people are just overly nice sometimes, it bothers you, like, okay, leave me alone. They were like that, but it was just they were so friendly. Everybody knew Brittany and I's name. They kept coming up to us and asking if we wanted food while we're in the pool. They asked us if we wanted food while we're in the lobby. I mean, they were just so amazing. I would be a spokesperson for this hotel because it's by far my favorite place in the entire world. Like I said, in the entire world of all the places I've been to. So again, if you're looking for a cool place, you want to go to Mexico, Hotel Musai. They do have an Instagram page. I do follow them. So check them out. So I know I talked long about that one, but I'm a huge fan of that hotel. What would your death row meal be? What would your death row meal be? Now, I hope I can pick two here. It would be a cheeseburger with crab legs. Cheeseburger, cheese and ketchup only, with king crab legs. That would be my last meal. And for dessert, Rocky Road ice cream. Because I think you're allowed dessert too, from what I've watched on documentaries. So yeah, I'd go with Rocky Road ice cream. How are you doing? Your life is in the spotlight all the time. That can't be easy. This is a good question, and whoever asked this, I appreciate that. How am I doing? That's a loaded question. I'm doing okay. I know that's the common answer to say I'm doing okay. I have my highs and I have my lows. But I gotta say, after leaving the treatment center, I am so much better. I've gotten on the right medication. I really haven't been angry at all. I've been frustrated a little bit here and there, but as far as like being super angry and like aggressive, I really, really haven't. Not towards any of my friends or my family, which that was always a problem. Um, but I feel really, really good in that aspect. As far as my day to day, obviously I'm going through a divorce. It's not the easiest thing in the world. 10 years with somebody and ending it is not easy. so, going through that, but, I got a really good support system. I cannot lie. I have the best team you could possibly have. Um, I got so lucky with my manager, Ryan, and my publicist, Lori. They're fucking awesome. And I hate to use the F word, but they just really, really are. I don't know where I would be without them. I have an amazing, friends that are with me, who text me all the time how I'm doing. Even Brittany's friends, even though they're Team Brittany, they reach out to me too, and just to make sure that I'm doing okay. And it means a lot because, you know, divorce is just not easy. And I know a lot of people out there are divorced, especially when you have kids involved. It's just tough. But on the bright side, Cruz is young, and he's going to have two loving parents that love him more than anything in the world. He's going to have a great life no matter what, and to me, that's the most important thing. So, there's that question. Do you think you're able to have a healthy relationship? Oh, can I be honest with you? I don't think so. I don't think it's in the cards for me to have a healthy relationship. The only person I want to have a healthy relationship with is my son, and that I will have a healthy relationship. But as far as a significant other, if you're asking me today, right now, I don't think that's possible for me just because I'm still, like I said, I just got out of a treatment center. I'm going through a divorce. I'm single for the first time in 10 years. I'm trying to still figure myself out. I'm trying to, make the right decisions for myself and for my son. I just don't think it's, I don't know how to say this. I just don't know if it's a good idea for me to bounce in a relationship right now. I'm not saying I'm not going to later in life. I have this question. It gets asked to me all the time by everybody. Even my friends and my family. Like, are you going to date again? I'm sure I'm going to date again. I'm definitely going to go out and and mingle. But as far as getting in a relationship, I just don't think I'm there. I don't. That's a tough question. I just don't think I'm ready for something like that yet. So, as far as girlfriend, no, I'm not going to do that. But I will go out, like I said, and enjoy people and have fun and make a lot of friends, male and female. Um, which person or people in your life gives you the best advice? I've got to say my team, probably, Ryan and Lori. I can probably say their names now because everybody knows who they are. But those are my go-to people who I check in with every day. They're not only people that I work with, but they're family. They've been in my life for over a decade. It's good to have people that are not just there, working for you, but they care about you as well. And it's I'm just very, very fortunate. I'll leave it at that. I'm just very, very fortunate that I have such a good team that's not only working for me personally, but professionally. They care about me. They care about my well-being. Sometimes they care too much. Sometimes they care too much, and they have their own people to deal with too. It's not just me. So I'm just really fortunate that they care about me as much as they do. So, yeah. Which person? I'm sorry. What do you? Okay, this is a question that I kind of wanted to get into. Why did you ghost Erin Foster at your bar? So let me explain this story. Erin Foster. I get a lot of people that reach out to me. Hey, Jax, can we have a party at your bar? Can we do a bachelor party? Can we do a whatever? Can we have a party at your bar? Now, Erin DM'd me and said, "Hey, Jax, do you mind if we have an event? I think it was her husband's birthday party at your bar." Of course, yeah, of course. And she said, now I think she went on Andy Cohen saying that I ghosted her, and that 100% was not my intention. And I was there. I didn't even have to be there. I told her that I wasn't sure if I was even going to make it, but I went out of my way to make sure that I came there because it was a Saturday afternoon. And I remember because I just got there after Cruz's soccer practice and I raced over there. I know I said hi to her. I know I said hi to her husband. I may have been quick about it, but I definitely 100% acknowledged them both. And I hope they had a good time. They seemed like everybody was having a great time. There was kids running around everywhere. Kids were playing. The adults looked like they were having a good time. I apologized to her if I made her feel uncomfortable. She seemed, when I talked to her, she seemed like she was happy. She was so busy running around with kids and all that other stuff. But just to clear things up, that wasn't my intention at all. Like I said, I went out of my way to make sure that I was there, like I do with anybody who has an event, because I'm so grateful that people want to come to my bar and throw, a bachelor party or a birthday party or any kind of event. I'm so grateful. I mean, there's bars all over LA, like to come to my bar and do that. I'm so grateful. So not just Erin, but I'm there for anybody who throws a party, whether I'm there for 5 minutes or I'm there for an hour. I try to get there, as much as I can. Now, just keep in mind, I have a family. I'm bouncing around as a co-parent right now. I'm filming a television show. I have a podcast. I have other things going on besides, going to events at the bar. But like I said, I don't think I've ever missed. Maybe I've missed a couple here and there, but I don't think I've ever missed anybody's party. So again, Erin, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. That wasn't my intention at all, and I hope you forgive me. I hope you have more parties at my bar. Were you shocked with your diagnosis or prepared? This is another good one. So when I went into the treatment center, I was a very, very broken human being. I didn't want to go. My ego was huge. I knew something was wrong. I've known something was wrong with me for years. I just didn't want to find out. I just didn't want to know. I'm like your typical guy. Like I don't want to know if I'm sick. I don't want to go to the doctors. I don't want them to tell me something that I don't know. But I knew, and I think everybody knew something was wrong with me. So I just assumed that, I was depressed. I just assumed I was depressed because I've looked it up online. I've talked to a lot of people, and I have a lot of the signs of clinical depression. I'm not diagnosed with it, but I just, talking to a lot of people, reading online, and I just figured that was the case. So, going in, I thought I was depressed, and that's what I thought. So when I went in and I met with the different therapists and I met with the doctors and all that stuff, they're like, Jax, you're not really depressed. You're bipolar II, it's called, the number two. And I was like, okay, I really don't know. At the time, I really didn't know much about bipolar. Have I heard of it? Yeah. It actually runs in my family, to be honest. And that made a lot of sense to the doctors. It definitely runs in my family. But they were like, listen, you need to be on this kind of medication. And I was relieved. I was just so relieved because it's one of those things where I'm like, why didn't I find this out sooner? It's one of those things like with me with sushi or, trying a food that I didn't like. And then you try it and you're like, why did I not do this sooner? And that's how I felt about, the taking or finding out that what was wrong with me, being bipolar. And now I can say, okay, I have this. I'm going to research it. I'm going to study it. I'm going to find out everything about it. I'm going to, I want to know everything about this, I guess you can call it disorder that I have. And I'm on the right medication. I take it every day. I don't miss it. And I feel a lot better. But as far as shocked, I wasn't shocked because, like I said, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know it was bipolar. I didn't know. And so I was very, very happy to find out, what it was. And I'm happy that I'm on the right medication now because we all have stuff wrong with us. Everybody's got something going on with their lives. And sometimes it's hard you don't want to hear it, you don't want to hear it, from a doctor or from your friend. You just kind of, as far as me anyway, I just didn't want to know. I just really didn't want to know. So do you have people in your life who have your back, who you really trust? Again, going back, I do. I unfortunately, I have a handful of people. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have, I probably have maybe 20 good friends, which is a lot. I think, 20 good buddy guys of mine that I have a group chat with, that I've had a group chat with since we started it actually at Tom's bachelor party, so that's over 10 years. I have a really good, solid group of buddies that would really drop anything to be there for me. But again, going back to my team, going back to Lori, going back to Ryan, going back to my sister, those are the people that I probably trusted the most in my life. Again, I lost my father 5 years ago, and unfortunately I don't speak to my mother. So I don't have a lot of people in my life that are like family. I'm not, besides my sister, it's all I really have. So I consider, Ryan and Lori and my buddies, those are my family. So, family's different for everybody, and this is my family. So before meeting Britt, you were very candid about not wanting to ever get married or have kids. So what changed? Oh, gosh. This is a tough one because it's emotional. I didn't know. I was very candid. You're 100% right. I did not want to get married. I did not want to have kids. I did not want dogs. I never wanted to buy a house. Like, I didn't want any of these things. I just wanted to live my life and, do what I was doing. But I was also very young, before I did this. And I also, didn't know I was going to meet Brittany. And, I can't really explain it. We met and we fell in love, and, we had an amazing, almost 10 years of relationship. I mean, yes, there was many ups and downs, and like any relationship, there was arguing, there's fighting, but, we had a lot of great times too. And, I fell in love like anybody else. And, when you fall in love, she wanted to get married. I thought, okay, this is it. Like, she's the right one for me. And then, we talked about, having kids, later down the line. And, we thought during COVID was probably the best time. Obviously a lot of things happened after Brittany got pregnant. COVID happened. I'm sorry, COVID was going on. I think we got pregnant, but then, I, no longer was working for Vanderpump. Obviously COVID was happening. I was out of work. There was a lot of things going on that was putting strain on our marriage. We were arguing a little more. I had to take a piece of humble pie a little bit. I had to take the back burner on things that I'm used to, being in charge of. I had to ask my wife for, financial assistance for the first time in our, 7 years of marriage. So that's tough, especially as a man who's just used to taking care of his family. Like, it was really, really tough for me. So, there's a lot of things, and I'm not saying people weren't going through things during COVID, because everybody was. Everybody lost their job. Everybody was going through their own personal things. I lost my job. My wife was pregnant. Money was getting a little tight. So it was stressful, and it took a huge toll on our marriage, huge toll. And then, by the way, I have a baby on the way too. I have a mortgage. I have just all these things. And, it just really, really took a toll on my mental health. It took a toll on Brittany's mental health. I just feel awful how I handled all that. I handled it wrong. I wish I would have gotten help before then, because maybe things would have been a little different. But I know I kind of dragged this question on, and I got into some other things, but that's kind of how it went back. Do I regret anything? No, I don't regret anything. I got a beautiful son out of it, and Brittany and I had a for the most part, a great relationship. It was just time for our marriage. I don't like to say, I just like to say our marriage is completed. I think that's a good word to use. It's completed. And I don't know if that sounds weird or whatever, but, that's just where we are. And I think both of us are going to be in a better place. I think both of us are going to be a lot happier over time. Right now, it's obviously a little tough because, of everything that's going on. So anyway, how many more Mixed Tiles ads are you going to do? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I fucking love doing Mixed Tile ads. They are all over my house. In fact, you're about to see another one because, well, I got this new accent wall, and I'm going to do a huge, I don't know if this is the right word, abstract wall of Cruz. It's going to be just a smorgasbord of Cruz in the last 3 years of his life, and I'm getting ready to do another one, so you guys are going to get more Mixed Tile ads. I'm a huge fan of Mixed Tiles. I think they're great. They're interchangeable. This is not an ad right now, but I love them. I'm like, why not? It's so easy. You go online, you put your pictures in, they send you in the mail, you hang them on the wall. There's no residue, no stickiness. It's magnets. So this sounds like an ad right now, but it's not. But it's just really, really easy. So whoever answered this, I am going to do as many Mixed Tile ads as they will give me because I am a fan. Where is the famous white sweater? So my manager, Ryan, as you guys all know, the famous chunky knit white sweater, which was very iconic in season 1 and 2. I mean, it was the chunky knit sweater was like just as popular as the number one guy in the group. I mean, that's what everybody talked about, the chunky knit, the chunky knit. And if you know the story or not, I went to Vegas. I crashed Stassi's, I think it was her birthday party, right? And I showed up at Marrakesh. Is it Marrakesh? I'm not sure if that's right or not. Which is an Indian restaurant off the strip. And I showed up and nobody knew I was there. It was probably 100 and something degrees. And I was wearing a chunky knit white sweater from H&M. Not anything crazy, not expensive. And I ripped that thing off when I got into a fight with Frank. And it was just a popular chunky knit. I wore it and people just like, I don't know, they gravitated toward the chunky knit and it became a very popular sweater. So my manager, I think it was like after the season ended, he's like, Jax, we got to do something with that sweater. It's iconic. People talk about it all the time. He's like, do you have it? I'm like, yeah, it's in my closet somewhere. He's like, give me the sweater. I'm going to do something with it. So he takes it to this framing company, gets it all framed up nicely with a little plaque underneath it saying exactly what happened. He had iconic pictures of all the incidents that I had with the white sweater on around it. And then he got a beautiful frame for it. And that picture was hung up in my apartment forever. And then when I found out that I was going back to, no, so what I decided to do when I went back to watch What Happens Live, it was the day after, I'm sorry, it was the week after, because Lisa did it the first week. The week after Scandoval hit, Andy called me up. He's like, what do you think about doing Watch What Happens Live? And I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, Bravo remembers me. I feel like I'm making a comeback. They like me again. What do you think about this? You want to come in and talk about Tom and all this? And I was like, I was actually having dinner with Brittany at a restaurant, and I had tears coming to my eyes. I was so excited that, Andy personally DM'd me and said, we miss you. We love to hear from you, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, I gotta make this like a huge ideal. Like, I'm coming back to Watch What Happens Live after almost 3 years. This is going to be iconic for me. I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but it was iconic for me. It was like, it hit home. So I was like, what can I do for Andy to make this special? I got it. I'm going to give him the iconic chunky knit sweater. I'm going to donate it to the clubhouse. And so to answer your question, the white sweater is in a frame in the clubhouse. So if you ever get to go to Watch What Happens Live, it is hanging in the clubhouse. I'm so honored that Andy wanted to hang it in there. He was so excited about it. He's like, I can't believe you're giving this to me. If you ever want it back, you can have it. So for the time being, it is in the clubhouse at Watch What Happens Live in New York City. Sorry, I dragged that on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I wanted you guys to know the story. Explain why you would ever go back to Vanderpump Rules or the House of Villains. So, to answer your question, why did I go back to House of Villains? Well, they asked me. I don't have a huge role in this season, but it will be interesting to watch. It kind of came full circle. I was very excited that they asked me to come back. I got a phone call. My manager, my publicist called me and said, hey, they want you back to do a little cameo. And here's the idea they have. I don't want to give it away, but it will be happening this season. I'm really excited about it. I had such a good time on House of Villains, even though I was voted off first. Competition shows are freaking hard. For those of you that watch competition shows, they are freaking hard. Like, I've always been in a docuseries. This was my first competition show, and as you guys know, I failed absolutely miserably. I was knocked out first, and I didn't know. I didn't study it. Everybody told me, Jax, you need to watch Big Brother. You need to watch Survivor because you're going up against some iconic villains in reality TV. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to, whatever. I'm just going to go out and play the game. I'm a strong guy. I'm athletic. How hard can it be? It's freaking hard. And it's more than just being athletic because they make the games even for male and female. There's no way that you can have an advantage. They purposely do it that way. So there's no, disadvantage. And not only that, I was the last person to enter the house. Sorry, second to last person to enter the house. So the people in the house were already making these quote unquote alliances, and they were like going up against each other, like talking to each other, like who were going to vote out. So people were already voted out before they even got there, before they even said hi. So I think I had an easy target because I didn't form an alliance with anybody. People were asking me to, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I made 2 really good friends, actually 3 really good friends on the show: Johnny Bananas, Johnny Fairplay, and Omarosa. They kind of taught me how to play the game. Obviously, it was a little bit too late, but they were kind of coaching me along the way. And as you guys know, they are iconic villains, and I was honored to be part of the show. So that's kind of why I went back to House of Villains, and I would definitely go back again. I would love to go back again because I feel like, I know a lot more about the show now. As far as Vanderpump Rules, because that show is it gave me everything that I have. That show is me. It's part of me. It's who I am. I can't explain what that show means to me. It means everything to me. Now I know I was beat up a lot on that show, but that show, it's given me everything that I have. It's given me my son. If you look at it that way, I would have never met Brittany if it wasn't for Vanderpump Rules. I wouldn't, my best friends, Tom and Tom, it's just that show means everything to me. Whether I'm on it or I'm not on it, it means everything. And I'm so honored that NBC and Bravo just like, let me stay on as long as I did. Do you ever wish you didn't get famous from VPR? Uh, did I ever wish? No. I have my ups and downs with being famous. I guess if you call me being famous. There's times where like I'm just like every day, especially right now, it's tough because there's a lot of people that are, involved in my life, personal things. This is the tough part right now. What I'm going through in life, obviously going to treatment and people kind of just dissecting my life a little bit as far as getting divorced and asking me questions and personal questions. Not everybody can go through this and can deal with this. This is the tough part of being famous, is what I'm going through right now, and this is probably the toughest part of being who I am since I've been on television, what I'm going through right now. And I have pretty thick skin and I don't let a lot of things bother me, but I am going through a lot right now. So it is very tough, but I'm so grateful for the shows, for everything that reality has given me. I mean, I have a really blessed life. I have a great life, and it's all because of you guys. You guys, I'm not a talented actor by any means. I'm just train wreck, messy TV that people like to watch when they come home from work or school, and they want to sit on the couch and they want to turn their brain off for 1 hour a week and forget about their lives and watch messy ass people on TV like myself. That's all we are. And we make you forget about your problems. And then you're like, who are these people on TV? These people are absolutely crazy. And you're thinking, you know what? My life really isn't that bad. I could be these morons on television. So if we do that, and we make you feel better about yourselves, or that's all we're there for. So that's how I answer that question. Has Tom Sandoval reached out to you since the divorce was announced? Yes. Actually, Tom Sandoval has reached out to me more than anybody, and I know people are going to be shocked by that. I have been hanging out with him a little bit more lately. I don't understand, or I can't even comprehend what he's gone through. That Scandoval thing was nationwide, and regardless of how you feel about Tom Sandoval, you got to remember what he went through on this. And I know, like I said, he did go through a lot, and he caused it. He did a very bad thing, but the world just like came down on him. So I couldn't believe it. He actually reached out to me while I was in the facility. He's just checking in on me. How you doing? What's going on? And I was shocked because I haven't heard from Tom in a long time. And now I probably talk to Tom 3 to 4 times a week. He comes to the bar. He sings karaoke. He's on tour right now, but I just hung out with him and his mom and his dad. And it was just great to see him. And I love Tom, and I will always love him no matter what he does. He's my best friend, along with Tom Schwartz. They're both my best friends. People make mistakes in life, but you got to move on from it. And we all got to forgive each other at some point. Do you dye your hair? No, I do not dye my hair. That's so funny. Somebody else asked me that the other day. I have not decided to dye my hair yet. I am getting the grays, though. They're creeping in. And it's so funny. I talked to Tom Schwartz about that because he dyes his hair on the reg. And I go, how do you do this? He's like, I go to CVS and I get this box dye, whatever. I go, do you think I should do that? He's like, no, you're not there yet. And I've asked a couple of my female friends, I'm like, dude, should I do that? Am I at the age where I should start doing that? They're like, no, turning salt and pepper is sexy, or it's great, good looking. So no, to answer your question, I do not dye my hair, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Do you think Tom Sandoval will ever recover from Scandoval? I think he'll get past it at some point, but no, I don't think he'll ever fully recover from it. I think the world just came down on him so hard that I think he's like got PTSD from it. I really, really do. If you could have one dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be? That's kind of an easy question. It would be my father. I miss that man so much, and I could really, really, really use him right now. Everything that I'm going through, it sucks because I thought this part of my life I would be able to like lean on my dad on things, and he's not here. So I would pretty much give anything to see my father. I give anything to see that man again. So yeah, it'd be my dad. Need advice. Why do guys have an amazing night with a girl and then completely ghost? Gosh, I don't know how to sound this without coming off as disgusting and arrogant, but in my past with that, if you have an amazing night, and I'm assuming amazing night means if you have sex with them, why do they ghost? Well, I think it's because they maybe went too quickly, or maybe the intimacy happened too quickly and then you're over it. I think for me, you know that's always was what happened for me. If you're going to ask my opinion, it's the intimacy part goes too quick. Once you have sex with somebody, guys kind of tend to lose interest because, well, there's nothing to look forward to anymore. And that's my opinion. Because I know this is a tough question. It really, really is. But I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I think it's because the sex probably happens too quickly. And when that happens, the guy's kind of like, well, okay, I've already kind of done it all. What else is there to do? So that's my answer to that. My husband has undiagnosed anger issues. How can I help him with himself? He's a lot like you. Now, if your husband has undiagnosed anger issues, tell him to get on medication. I'm telling you, it's changed my life. I wish to God I would have got on medication years ago. I can't go back in time, but just get on medication. If he loves you, I'm telling you, do the work. Go get treatment, find out why you have these issues, because for me, the anger was stemming from other things. I was never angry at Brittany. I took my anger out on Brittany. I took my anger out on my sister. I took my anger out on my friends, but I wasn't angry at them. I was angry at other underlying issues. I was angry at my father. I was angry at my family. I was angry at situations that were happening to me over the years that I was unfortunately taking that anger and not resolving those issues. I was taking the anger out on my friends, my family, my wife, and that's where I went wrong with my anger. I didn't know how to handle it. And like I said, medication has really helped me, and it's the only thing that is going to help. So my suggestion to you is therapy, maybe seeking some treatment, but definitely get on medication. There are some amazing medications out there that can change your life. So that's my advice to you. Have you ever thought about actually being a normal human being away from all this? It would be good for you. Guys, I honestly think I'm a normal human being. I really, really do. I'm put into a lot of situations that, this is my life. This is how I handle things. We're on TV. It's been tough, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fun. I know everybody has their opinions. Everybody's going to have an opinion for everything. It doesn't matter if you're Mother Teresa. Everyone's going to have an opinion of you no matter what. Now, if people read into that like selfly, well, then that's their problem. I try not to let people's opinions bother me because, again, most of these people are just keyboard warriors. But I got to live my life. I got to do what's best for me. And at the end of the day, I got to live my life for me. And I love doing this. I know sometimes I complain about it, whatever, but I really, really love being on reality TV. I'm really good at what I do, I think. I have a lot of heart and compassion. I have a lot of love to give. I know there's sometimes I have some narcissistic qualities, but look at. I mean, put yourself in my shoes. I was the villain for a long time, and it was hard to. I was pigeonholed to be the villain for a long time, and I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. And then there was times I was punished for being the villain. So it's tough. It's just a tough thing to be part of. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't wish I didn't have this life. I'm so fortunate that everybody out there, the fans, when I go meet you guys, you are so nice to me. You come up to me and you guys know about my life. You guys know more about my life than I know about my life sometimes. And I wouldn't change it for the world because the people that I meet is what keeps me going. The fans that I meet, the DMs that I get, when I was in treatment, all the people reaching out to me. I mean, I got some negative things and I'm going to get negative things, but there's a lot more people that were so positive that got me through that. You guys are the ones that are getting me through all this. If I didn't have you guys, no, I don't think I could do this, but I have so many great fans out there that are just so awesome that I just can't wait to get up the next day and find out what my next project is. So there's that. What are your thoughts of the Montreal Canadiens? I think they're going to be in dead last. Unfortunately, I'm a hockey guy. I know a lot about the sport, and I think they're in a rebuild. For those few hockey fans listening to this podcast, that know that I do love Montreal, one of my favorite cities, and it's obviously the holy grail to hockey. It's kind of like the Vatican for hockey. Like going to a Montreal hockey game is like basically equivalent to going to the Vatican for me personally. So I got to go. It was iconic. It was one of the best times of my life. And I'm actually getting ready to go to a Toronto Maple Leafs game against Detroit, which I'm very excited about. But the question was, how are the Montreal Canadiens? They are going to be in dead last this year, unfortunately. They just got a lot of rebuilding to do. Your new home looks so nice. Will we ever get a walkthrough? You have good taste, or did somebody help you? Well, I think I have really, really good taste, but I have to say that Lori did help me with a lot of this. I definitely likes to bounce things off of her, like ideas and things, and she's got good taste. My sister also, I bounce things off of her. But obviously it's got a little bit of a woman's touch in here, and that's what I like. But yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, my place is really, really nice, and I'm really proud of it. Like I said, I haven't lived on my own in 10 years, and I'm 45 years old, going back on my own again. And I wanted something homey. I wanted something that didn't feel like, a frat house, what I'm used to living in. I wanted just something nice. And like I said, I did some partnerships with some amazing companies, Renwell, Mixed Tiles, Lovesac. They've all been so amazing to me and helping me through this new period in my life. And yeah, I'm really proud of my house. So thank you guys. And you will get a walkthrough. We got some cool things coming up that I'm going to be doing, like a tour of my house. So I'm super excited about it. And I'm really excited that you are excited to see it as well. What are you most looking forward in the future? I'm looking forward to getting through this divorce. Not in a mean way or anything. It's going through a divorce and death are the two hardest things I think I'll ever have to go through. My father's death was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. And I got to say, this divorce is right up there. I mean, it's right up there. It's just so emotional. It's so emotional that, whether the good or the bad, going through a divorce is just really, really hard. And especially when you have a child, and he's the most important thing in our lives, Brittany and I's lives. And we're definitely on the same page with that, but we just want the best for him. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to future projects. I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to just, being a better version of myself, trying to get better every day and, just staying healthy. Anyway, yeah, I feel like that's the best answer to give. Every day is a new day right now, and I'm just so happy with everybody around me. I'm so happy that I found the right medication for myself and I'm diagnosed with the right stuff. But I really appreciate everybody, asking these questions and DMing me and checking in on my mental health. It really means a lot to me, and it actually keeps me going. So God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. If you're going to be in Toronto next week, I hope I get to see you guys. I'll also be going back to Toronto twice. Then I'll be in Winnipeg. I'm very excited to see all my favorite Canadians. So, all right, guys, that was fun. I really like the question where someone asked advice about men and why they ghost. That was probably my favorite question, and why men behave a certain way. Because I don't know why men behave a certain way. And we're men, we're just crazy creatures. I'm thinking maybe I should do an episode actually dedicated solely to these types of questions because, they're important and women want to know. Hell, men want to know. Women are just as difficult too. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think I should do that? I think I should do that. Anyway, because I've definitely been that guy. And I think maybe I can give some good insight to women as well as guys too. We all do things, why do men gaslight? Why do men breadcrumb? These are all new words for me that I'm learning: breadcrumbing, gaslighting. Like someone said, ick, or God, there was another one too. Like I can't think of the name where you look needy, but I can't remember the name. But anyway, there's all these new terminologies now that are coming out, and I realize that I'm a lot of these things. So maybe we can all help each other out. So it could be fun, and maybe it could be even helpful to us both. So let me know. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Another episode of When Reality Hits is coming to an end, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.